is an office. Now, we will talk about the functions of office. Now, what are the important functions of an office? And the functions of an office can be, divided into two. The first one is, or we can say the functions of an office are of two types. The first one is the primary or basic functions. Second one is the administrative management functions. So first we will discuss about the primary or basic functions. Now, there are four important primary functions which are to be performed by the organization. Now, the first and foremost in the primary function is to receive or collect information. Now, what do we understand by this word to receive and collect information? Now, when we take a government office as an example, in that to receive an information, that is, when we go to that government office, we try to receive, that is, we get to know what all information we want to. If we visit a government office, we will try to collect the information. Now, that government office collects all the information related to that department and keeps it in safe. Then whoever or a citizen, whoever needs any information, if he goes to that particular department or a particular office, he can get rightful information. So the first and foremost function of an office is to receive and collect information. To receive and collect information. Then the second one is to prepare a record of information. To prepare record of information. Now, what do we understand by the words to prepare record of information? Now, from everywhere, the office will be getting all sorts of functions. So what happens? Then it has to maintain the record. It might be yearly, it might be department-wise, it might be person-wise, it might be now. So the office has to divide according to the people, year, time, or all sorts. These all are the types of divisions which have to be done by the office to maintain the record. That is, the office has to have a record, because if a citizen comes to that office and asks for an information way back in last year's information, then the office personnel or the office employee should not say that we don't have any information, because it is the place where the storage of information is there. So they have to have a record of all the information necessary. For example, if you take the best example we can take is the university in which you are studying. The university has the record of all the students, If you go to the office of the university and if you just tell them your roll number or your hall ticket number or just your name, roll number, then they will give you all the data whichever is necessary for you. You need not loiter around, or you need not go to every block or every office to collect the relevant information. So office plays a very, very important role. So if you just go and tell in the university office, students' office, where if you just tell them your roll number or your hall ticket number, with that they will know that to which year you belong to which combination will you belong to, which stream you belong to, and they will rightfully give you the information. So it is the responsibility of the office. So it is the primary function of the office to maintain the record of the students. And as we are taking the example of the university. So likewise, if you take any organization, any government organization, they have to, it is their prime responsibility to maintain the records of each and every information what they receive. So it is the primary function of the office to maintain the record of information. Then the third one is to process and arrange of information. To process and arrange of information. Now, as I told you that we have taken the example of to process and arrange of in a university. Now, when we talk about the university, as we are taking the example of the university, now how can we explain this function of to process and arrange the information? Now, the applications, what all the applications where the university gets for the UG level admissions. So what do? They arrange them, they process them, and they arrange them according to the streams, according to the subjects. That is to have a better understanding, to provide a better information and rightful information to the students. So it is the prime function of the office to process and arrange the students' names, roll numbers, to which streams they belong to the fee structures, who paid the fee. So this is the primary information which the university gets. So the next important function is to process and arrange of information. Then the last, we can say the last primary function of the office is to supply ready-made information. To supply ready-made information. Now, what do we understand by to supply ready-made information? Now, when you just go to the office and just if you give your roll number, and they will tell you, or the office people will help you in giving you all the information that in which year you have taken the admission, in which year you have passed out, what marks did you achieve or did you get in all the subjects, what it means, what all in the last 3 years, what all the educational things, what all how many exams you have written. That is the rightful information whichever is necessary for you. You need not go around to many departments or to the teachers or anywhere. You can directly go to the university and collect the rightful information. That is, the office is there to provide the ready-made information, So we can say that office is the prime thing or a prime institution which helps the people to get the rightful information. So these are the four important functions, or the four important primary functions, we can say. Once again, I am repeating the primary functions of the office. That is, the first one is to receive and collect information. Second one is to prepare and record of information. Third is to process and arrange of information. Fourth is to supply ready-made information. Now we will talk about the second function of the office, that is the administrative management functions. The first what we have discussed are the primary functions. Primary functions are basic one. Each office has to perform. Those are the primary one. The second one are the administrative management functions. The administrative management functions, in that we will discuss a few of them. The first one is the planning, organizing, communicating, coordinating, directing, all these. That is, office tries to plan. In an office, planning is done. What is a planning? Planning is a mental process. That is, planning strategies, planning about strategies. That is, how the policy has to be done, or how the work has to be taken up, how to maintain the records, or how to go with the coordination of the people, all these. That is planning, coordination, organizing of the material, organizing of the records, files, everything is being done in an office. So office contains from planning. Planning is what to do, how to do, when to do. All these questions are being answered in an office. So planning, organizing of the material, organizing of the records, files, letters, mails, everything is being done in an office. So the first and foremost administrative management function is planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and controlling. The second function is development of office systems and procedures. Development of office systems and procedures. That is, what are the procedures to be followed, the timings, what there should be a procedure to be followed, at what time the meeting should be held, with whom the meeting should be held, what are the roles and responsibilities which have to be given to the workers or the employees or working in the organization, and what is the system of working. That is, what are the timings to be followed, who will be guiding whom. All these are the things which have to be developed in an office to work, to enhance a smooth functioning of the office, we can say. So the second important administrative management function is development of office system and procedure. Then the third important one is selection and purchase of office appliances. That is, selection and purchase. Now, an office cannot run on how it is. So it has to have some tools or machines or equipments which might help the employees to perform the work in an easier manner. So that is appliances. That might be furniture, or the appliances, that is computers, laptops, or the good appliances which are needed to work smoothly and to coordinate with the employees in a smoother manner. So that is another important administrative management function. Then the next is personnel function. Now, what is this personnel function? Personnel. Personnel function is recruitment and selection of the employees. That is, now the office cannot run on its own. It has to have employees who have expertise in a particular sector or who have knowledge in performing that task and finishing that task. So the office has to recruit people or to recruit people to perform the activities. So that is a very, very important function, administrative management function of the office. Then the next important one is controlling of office cost. That is the controlling of the office cost. That is the office has to have has to maintain the cost of the, that is, there should not be any misuse of the funds which are being provided to maintain the office in providing the information. So the office cost has to be maintained. Then next important one is planning of schemes and policies. Now, if you see the government departments also planning of each department has their own office where all the employees and the heads of the departments come together and go on with the schemes and policies which have to be given out or which might give the people a rightful information. Then another important, we can say administrative function of the office is public relations. Public relations is maintaining coordination and communication with each and every client or an office or a person. So there should be a public, that is a mutual understanding and coordination should be maintained and in the office to have the rightful information. So these are the functions of office. Now we will talk about what are the most important objectives or the purpose of office that are, well, if you talk about them, the first and foremost is an office is a processing medium. The first and foremost purpose of an office is it is a processing medium. Processing medium means it gets all the information, it gives out information, it keeps itself information for it maintains the information, means all the processing is done. It is a medium of processing of information. Then the second one is to facilitate planning, to provide information, to enhance public image. To enhance public image. Now, when we go to a particular government department, where the citizens just go to the office and come out saying that this department is not working properly. They are not answering our queries. They are not addressing our problems. So that is, it will become we can say that it will create a negative image in the people. So it is the responsibility of the office to have a good public image. That's why when you go to these public offices or private offices also, there you see, may I help you, or boards where somebody might come up and say that, can I help you? Or there will be persons who will be helping you in guiding you to which office you have to go. So these are the plus points of an office which might create a good public image. So this is also a first and foremost an objective or a purpose of an office, we can say. Then we have it also helps in coordination and communication. That is coordination and as well as communication. Now, what is coordination? Bringing everybody onto one platform and making them work and making them communicate with each other to perform that work or to get the end result. So that is a very, very important challenge, we can say, in front of the office and communicating from with one and another to make the work easier. So we can say that it facilitates, and an office facilitates communication, and also it helps in coordination. And above all these, the office provides clerical services. It provides clerical services. That is, it gives you the rightful information about your queries. So these are the important purposes of or objectives of office. Next, we will talk about the importance of office. Now, what do we know, or can we say that office is not necessary? No, we cannot say that, because if an office is not there, then the people or the people might not get rightful information at the right time and at the right procedure, in the right procedure. So which will, for example, if as we are talking about our university only, so we have taken the example of our university. So if we just think, if we don't have an office in the university where the students are addressed and all their queries are addressed, if we don't have that, then who will address the problems? Who will address the problems of the students? And all the students will go to the university and they will be roaming around to one pillar to the other to get the rightful information. So just you can understand how important an office is, where you can directly go to that office and get the rightful information. So office is very, very important medium of processing of data and also gathering of information and as well as providing of information. So we can say that office plays a very, very important role in an organization. Now, according to these, then we can say that now the importance of office in that the first and foremost is, now we will talk about the importance of office in few points. That is, the first and important point is office renders valuable services to all other departments. That is, as I told you, now if the students need any information, the office provides them. If the faculty need any information, the office provides them. If outside people need any information, the office provides them. So it is the office gives or the office renders valuable services by providing the rightful information. The second importance of office is office is an information center. Office is an information center or memory center. Now we all know, what do we understand by a memory center? That is, it has the memory, that is maintaining of the records of many years. Now, if a person who has passed out some 10 years back, and if he wants an information about him, then if he just goes to the office, if he just gives his personal details, then the office will give him the rightful information, giving that is from their records. Record is a type of memory data, whereby giving them the rightful information. And the next importance of office, in that the next point is office acts as an intermediary. We can say that it acts as an intermediate one, where it collects the information and pass on the information to the other person. So it intermediate, that is, it takes the information and pass on to the information to the other person. Now, if we take the example of this, and when we talk about this, now the students who have taken admission, the students' information, the office keeps itself, and it passes on to the departments, whoever, to whichever. Now, for example, a BA student is there. The BA student's information will be passed on to the BA faculty. So, which will help the faculty to prepare the syllabus, coordinate with them, give them the rightful information about the classes or the syllabus, everything. So, office plays a very, very important role, and it gives the rightful information and acts as a perfect intermediate function. And then the last one is, office also acts as a coordinator. It coordinates, it brings together, that is, the office brings together the faculty and the students together, and it helps them to work together. So we can say that office plays a very, very important role, right from planning of the planning to the end result. So we can say that this is all about the first topic, public office administration, that is the nature, scope, and importance. Next, second topic, that is the differences between public and private administration, office administration. In this, as we all know, first we will discuss about what is the basic difference between a public office organization and a private organization. Now, by the terms, we can understand public office organization, it works for the people. It works for the public. That is a government office, for example. A government office works for the people only, public or the citizens. Whereas a private office works only for themselves, that is internally, that are only for a couple of people or a group of people, or we can say, or that is the basic difference between a public office and a private office. So now, continuing this, we will talk about the differences in this. The first and foremost difference between a public office and a private office is the public office has the uniformity, but whereas uniformity, that is, in all the government offices, we see that an IAS officer will be there, and above him the ministers or the chief minister, that is the hierarchy will be followed, and each department has an head, that is an IAS officer or a commissioner or a director will be there assisting him. Many employees will be working. So that is, the every department has an uniformity of people, whereas in the private organizations we don't see that uniformity, because private organizations might be small or huge also. If an organization is a bigger one, then there might be many departments and many people working, and also there might be a group of heads also, that is board of directors, and management will be there. Many people are involved, and if a small organization is there, only one person will be the head, and he will be having few departments, that is and production, marketing and finance, or a few departments which might coordinate with one and another. So there will be, so in a public organization there will be a uniformity, and in a private organization they don't follow a uniformity based on the structure of the organization, and based on the structure of the organization and the it might be, if it is a small or a bigger one, based on that the employees and the workforce is being taken. The second difference between the public and private is, in the public office, financial control will be vested with the government, because that is it is an external one, that is external financial control, that is the government, each department is connected to the each one another, and the government has to release the funds to these government departments. So an external pressure, external control will be there for the financial services. That is, if the funds are released by the government, then these departments can function. Whereas in the private organizations, it is an internal matter. It is an internal matter. That is, a person who runs a small industry or a factory, it is up to him how he manages his finances. Or we can say, in a public organizations, the departments, the budget is there. The budget has to be prepared, then it has to be released. That will be a huge procedure. But in a private organizations, it is related to a couple of people, that is internally only. Public organization, it is an external one. In private organizations, it is an internal one, that is only board of members or the management will take care of the finances. Then the third one is the most important one, I can say, that is public office is service motive. Service motive means only providing of services to the people. As we all know, public administration is service motive, that is to manage the affairs, to we can say to provide basic services to the people, or to take care of the citizens. That is the basic or the important motto or motive of the public offices. So it is the public office administration, it is a service motive, whereas the private organizations, they are profit oriented, because they are in the market, they have to be in the market and see they are in the competition. So they are profit oriented, they are not service oriented. They just try to get more and more profits by selling their goods. Whereas in public organizations, there is no selling of goods. There is only provision of services, that is, providing of services to the people. Then another important one is public interest, that is, public offices work, as I told you, work in the interest of the public, that is, what the public need, that is, maintaining of roads, provision of better roads, infrastructure, street lights, water, sanitation, all these are being given to the public. So public organizations work in public interest and for the public interest, whereas the private organizations, they work for in their personal interest. Personal interest means only getting targets or achieving the targets, reaching the organizational goals, attaining profits. All these are the, we can say, the interests of the private organizations. Then another difference is public accountability. Public accountability. Now, what do we understand by the term accountability? Accountability is answerable. The government is answerable to the citizens. So, in the public offices, if a citizen goes and asks for any information, the government or the public organization has to provide them with the rightful information. They cannot deny that we will not give you any information. So it is the public organizations have public accountability, whereas private organizations, they don't have that accountability because they need not explain anything about themselves to the people who come to them. They are answerable only to the clients or to with whom the business is being done. So that is another important difference. Then the next one is political nature. That is, now in public organizations, we see political interference. Political interference, that is, public representatives. Public, who are these public representatives? The public representatives are the people whom the citizens elect. Citizens elect through voting and give them the power to take decisions. So, and another thing is, we can say that if there is a political interference, then the decision making might become more tougher. So but whereas in private institutions or private organizations, the decision making will be vested with the management only, or with a couple of people only. So I can say that there will be less political interference in private organizations. Then the next important one is ministerial responsibility. Ministerial responsibility, as I told you about the political nature, that is, now each department has a political head as well as an administrative head. So who is a political head? The minister is termed as a political head, and the bureaucrat, that is an IAS officer, is termed as an administrative head. So the minister, the functioning of the department is more vested with the minister. That is, the minister has more responsibility of the working of the department. So it is, we can say it is, as we all know, that the government is related with the political people, that is, whom we elected and have given them the power to rule us. But whereas in private organizations, we don't see such things. That is, the responsibility will be vested with only few people. The responsibility will be vested with few people only. That is, the management will be having the whole responsibility. If anything goes wrong, if any decision making goes wrong, or if any decision making has to be taken, then it is vested with the group of people or the management only. But whereas in the public organizations, the decision making is not vested with the people who are working in that. It is vested in the government. That is, the decision making will be in the government, whereby the chief minister, the ministers, and the bureaucrats are involved in the decision making process. Then next is, we can say, impact and considerations. Impact and consideration, that is the impact of work. In public offices, we see the impact, how the work is being done, the impact of the work. That is, if you see in government offices, the work is done in a very slow process, because many people are involved, many departments are involved. Whereas in private organizations, the impact will be the considerations also will be few, that because only few people are involved. And another important one, we can say, it is the public organizations are wholly public welfare oriented. That is, the public organizations focus on public welfare, and like important services like defense, defense, or like this, postal, all these where important and confidential works are taken up. The responsibility of the public is taken up, and welfare and security of the public is taken up. Whereas private organizations, they don't have to go in the path of welfare, or they don't have the responsibility of taking care of the people, nor they don't have the responsibility to have the important to provide the important services to the people. Then another important one is, public organizations should go by legal framework. Legal framework. That is, legal framework means the government organizations have to work with all the rules and regulations, and as per the systematic procedures, and all the systematic procedures have to be followed. Whereas the private organizations need not take up it. At times they can skip some rules and regulations to finish the task in an easy manner, or to achieve the targets also they can skip. So, but whereas in the government departments, they cannot go with they cannot forego the legal framework. They have to abide by the rules and regulations, and they have to work with the system. Then next is efficiency. When we talk about efficiency, the private in public organizations, efficiency is measured in terms of working towards the public, providing of services to the public. It is not measured person to person. It is measured through how the services are being given to the public. Whereas in private organizations, efficiency is measured in terms of we can say in terms of the results what they have achieved, and also in private organizations, the efficiency of each person or a worker or an employee is measured, which is being calculated in achieving the result of the organization. For example, if two people in an organization, if they are not working properly and if they are not giving 100% to the organization, then it might result in the in the duration of time in getting the better results. It might have it might lead to more time taking in getting the results. So the efficiency has to be considered in the and here in public organizations, efficiency can be measured in the public providing in public services, how nicely and how in better manner, in a better manner, how these services are being given. So that is another important difference between a public office and a private office. And another important one is in private offices, in public offices, the officials remain anonymous. That is because they are now, if you see, many ministers work, the chief minister works, the prime minister ministers work, and moreover the government officials work for giving better facilities for the people. But the people, they don't come out and tell that we have done this. They maintain anonymity. That is, nobody gets any recognition because they don't need any recognition, because they have to. It is their responsibility, and they think that it is their responsibility to provide better services, and they are welfare oriented. That is, they are where they take care of the people. Whereas in the private organizations, if an employee gives out 100% to the organization, in turn he expects the organization to recognize his work and give acknowledgement to his work in terms of monetary benefits. He expects that in terms of monetary benefits or incentives or rewards. So but whereas in public offices, the government officials work for the welfare of the people, and they don't expect any monetary benefits or incentives or rewards. They only work for the welfare of the people. And another important point we can say is the public offices work in the perspective of social and economical standard, taking the social and economical standards of the people and the situations, because the social conditions of the citizens, economical conditions of the citizens, the decision making of the government is being taken in the that is, if they want to. For example, if the government wants to enhance the taxes or increase the taxes, they have to take care of the social and economic conditions of the people. Then only they can increase the taxes. Whereas if you compare this with a private organization, it is totally a business activity, that is give and take policy. They are more focused on profits, because the company or the organization has to be in the market with the other companies or the organizations. So they have to maintain that standard. Hence they are business oriented, and it is wholly a business activity which takes place in the private organizations. Then another important one in the difference between a public office and a private office is, in the public office, bureaucrats, or we can say the bureaucrats or the administrative servants or the government servants are involved. Whereas the private organizations, there is no interference of bureaucrats. Because the company, the organizations, they work internally with a group of people, that is the management and the workers or the employees. Whereas in the public organizations, it is the bureaucrats who have the expertise or who have the knowledge of providing better services, whereby helping the government in taking better policy decisions, and it also helps, bureaucrats also help the government in taking better decisions for the welfare of the people. So we can say that the public organization is mostly or wholly, we can say, it is welfare oriented, it is non-profitable, it is citizen-centric. The main motto of the public organizations is providing better services to the citizens. That this is about a public office. Now, compared to the private office. Now, what is a private office? Private office is wholly dependent upon a business activity, whereby a couple of people or group of people come together to achieve a target, and it is more of profit oriented. It is non-accountable. Private organizations need not show any accountability towards anybody, and they don't have the interference of the bureaucrats, and they need not follow all the legal frameworks. So we can say that the public organization is has a different perspective, and then private organization has a different perspective. So these are the two important organizations or two different administrations whereby which help the society to build a new system. So today we have discussed about the first unit. In that, the first unit, we have discussed about the two topics. That is, the first one is public office administration, nature, scope, and importance. The second one is differences between public office and the private office. So if you have any doubts, you can come up. Or okay. Thank you.